beautiful soul family. Welcome back to Cancerian House of Tarot. My name is Amy, and I am so grateful you're here. This is your sacred space for soft, healing, and heart-centered guidance. Whether you're an Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or just drawn here by Spirit, trust that there is something in this reading meant for you. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest, and always follow your own inner light. Let's get started by pulling your messages today. Aquarius, feel free to skip this section and go straight to your reading by selecting the corresponding timestamp. I look forward to seeing all of you in just a moment. Hi, Aquarius. Thank you so much for joining me in your card pull. I have shuffled all the decks and I have set my intentions for your reading. So let's just give a quick shuffle so you can see there's no funny business going on. And we will get started pulling your Celtic Cross. Here we go. In the heart of the matter, we have the Four of Swords being crossed by the Page of Wands. In the root, we have death. Recent past energy, we have the Four of Cups. Crowning energy, we have the Nine of Swords. Future energy moving in, we have the Three of Swords. How you are being seen at this time, we have you out as the Queen of Swords. Outside influences, we have strength, Leo energy. Leo and Scorpio here. And hopes and fears, we have the Seven of Pentacles. And possible outcome, we have the Hanged Man. Future overall energy, we have the Ace of Wands, so there's a spark of something new here. And the hidden energy is the High Priestess. All right, my beautiful Aquarius. That concludes your tarot pull. Now we'll take a brief pause while I clear the spread, and then we will start again by pulling your oracle messages. All right, we are going to get started with the romance angels. Aquarius will be taking a look at the person that you are hoping, wishing, desiring to connect with, have previously connected to, or is in current connection, or we could be tapping into a person that wishes all those things with you. Let's look at Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus when it comes to love, romance, and personal relationships. What does Aquarius most need to hear at this time? All right, so we have reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning. We have pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. And release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. All right, so now let's go ahead and pull some Hidden Truth Oracle. And Aquarius, this is going to be that person that we just discussed. Someone that you're hoping, wishing, desiring to connect to, have previously connected to, or in current connection, or will be in the near future. Or this is a person that still has you or has you very much on their mind and in their energy. This is what's being said and not said in the silence. All right, we both know I'm not the one for you. We have, I knew exactly what I was doing. We have, you don't know how hard it was to let you go. And we have, I hid who I really am from you. All right. Let's go ahead now and pull some zodiac energy. Now, Aquarius, this can come out as a zodiac sign of a person that you are connecting with, or you have on your mind, or of your person. And if it does, you can take that as further confirmation that this reading was meant for you. However, this reading is really about the zodiac signs, the planetary energy, as well as elemental energy, to see how it's influencing you at this time. All right, we have fire energy. We have Sagittarian energy. And we have Aries energy. Okay, let's go ahead now and pull some angels and ancestors for their incredible wisdom and advice. What do we have for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for July 16th through July 22nd, 2025, please? All right, we have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right. We have Autumn, release the old and rest. And we have Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the Divine Doors. All right, my beautiful, beautiful spiritual team. What do we have for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, please? Best messages, advice, and guidance for Aquarius. All right, Aquarius, we have Forgive and Forget. That is a favorite right now. Freedom Flows. And we have the Odyssey. And now we're going to pull the last portion of your reading, and that is going to be from the Spiritual Jukebox. And I will, in your reading, further explain how that works. All right, my beautiful spirit team, what do we have for Aquarius? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. What song messages do we have for Aquarius? Nobody Knows It But Me, Kevin Sharp. What If I Said, Anita Cochran, Steve Warner. The End, Beth Crowley. Beautiful Things, Benson Boone. And I'm feeling like there is one more. Hello, Adele. All right, my beautiful, wonderful Aquarius. Thanks again so much for joining me. I hope this has been entertaining. I have pulled all your cards now and am so eager to really dive into your reading. I look forward to seeing you all there in just a moment. Welcome, Aquarius, to all those just tuning in or coming from the card pull. As a reminder, this is a general reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest. This week's reading is a deep soul dive touching every area of life: love, healing, health, career, spiritual growth. We're going to explore what Spirit wants you to know for your highest good, with a focus on healing, emotional truth, and inner strength. Let's begin with your Celtic Cross using the Mystic Dream Tarot. Right at the heart of the matter this week, we see the Four of Swords, a powerful message of rest, healing, and quiet integration. You may be recovering from emotional, physical, or even spiritual exhaustion. The universe is placing a spiritual do not disturb sign on your life right now. It's time to pause, not because you're failing, but because you're evolving. This could be tied to burnout in love, work, or even decision fatigue, especially after a period where you gave too much and received too little. With life and health, this is a week to nourish your nervous system. Prioritize rest, boundaries, and stillness. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come in silence. What's challenging this need for rest is the Page of Wands. That spark, the urge to leap forward. You may feel pulled between a need to heal and a desire to move on or start something new. This could also be someone in your life trying to reignite communication or passion before you're ready. Slow down, Aquarius. The fire will still be there when you're ready. Don't light a match before the wounds are closed. We're going to look at your foundation, the root of the issue, and we have death, Scorpio energy. Transformation is rooted in the soul, is at the deepest level of this week's reading. Death isn't about loss, it's about release. This is the soul's quiet way of whispering it's time to stop holding on to what was and make room for what's meant to be. This card tells us that you are standing at the threshold between endings and beginnings, and through the surface may still feel froggy or unsettled. The real work is happening below, deep in the emotional and energetic body. There's a powerful identity shift taking place. You're not just closing a chapter, you're no longer the person who needed to live in it. This card reveals that the biggest influence right now isn't external. It's your soul's readiness to evolve, even if it means shedding what once felt sacred or familiar. In love, it's letting go of karmic bonds and romantic illusions. Death in the foundation is a clear sign that a relationship, connection, or energetic tie has been undergoing a slow spiritual unraveling, whether it ended physically or is still lingering emotionally. This card often shows up when you're trying to grieve something that's not fully gone. There's still a cord to someone from your past, especially a karmic or emotionally codependent bond. A part of you is still hoping, waiting, or idolizing a person or what could have been. You're holding on to who you were in love rather than who you've become. Spirit says you're not mourning the person, you're mourning the hope. You're grieving the you who once believed it would turn out differently. And that's okay, but you don't live there anymore. Aquarius, if you are interested in healing this, there is some shadow work that you can do here. And this is kind of what you need to ask yourself. Where am I still entangled with someone who doesn't love me in the way I deserve? What identity and love am I shedding? And am I ready to stop trying to resurrect it? What truth am I ready to accept in order to step forward lighter? Death is the soul's sacred reset. It's not punishment, it's permission. Permission to stop fixing what's already past. Permission to stop loving from your wounds. Permission to begin again, not in someone else's arms, but in your own wholeness. This transformation isn't meant to make you better, it's meant to make you free. This is soul alchemy. You're being reshaped, spiritually upgraded. Don't rush to rebuild. Let the ashes settle first. Four of Cups in the recent past tells a story of emotional detachment, apathy, or even grief masking as indifference. This card often shows up when you've been either rejecting an opportunity for connection because you were still healing, holding space for someone who never showed up the way you needed, or realizing that what was being offered simply wasn't enough anymore. You might have spent recent months asking, is this it, or why doesn't this feel right? In love, it reflects a disconnect, possibly due to emotional unavailability, lingering wounds from the past, or simply unspoken truths between two people. The life and spiritual message here is you spiritually outgrown the emotional crumbs you once accepted. This moment in your past was when your soul whispered, you deserve more. You just weren't ready to hear it until now. Crowning this reading, the pain you're carrying is heavier in the mind than in reality. This card sits in your conscious mind, showing what's dominating your thoughts. The Nine of Swords reveals anxiety, mental overwhelm, and sleepless nights, often over truths you're now forced to face. You've realized that something can't continue the way it was, and that realization hurts. This card, paired with death in the root, forms a powerful message. You're not just afraid of what ended, you're afraid of what's next and whether your heart can trust again. It's also a card of emotional vulnerability finally cracking the surface. In love, you may be replaying conversation, choices, or moments in your head, asking, did I give too much? Was I too hard on them? Or maybe was I too soft on them? Will I ever find a love that feels safe again? If you're interested in healing these, really take a look into asking yourself, what truth am I afraid to say out loud, even to myself? What would happen if I gave myself permission to fully grieve without apology or guilt? What version of myself is asking to be released along with this pain? You've been emotionally pulled between the grief of the past and the fear of the future, but now Spirit is gently guiding you through the final steps of release. The Four of Cups was the soul's way of keeping you safe, of not letting you accept energy that didn't match your growth. The Nine of Swords is the mind's struggle with accepting that the season has changed. Together they say it's okay to be tired, it's okay to not know what's next, but it's not okay to pretend you're still meant to stay where your soul is no longer thriving. Future energy, we do have the Three of Swords coming in. This card reveals that emotional pain, whether long held or newly triggered, is surfacing for healing. The Three of Swords is one of the most misunderstood cards. It isn't punishment, it's sacred revelation. In your reading, the heart is being cracked open not to destroy it, but to purge it. Spirit is saying you cannot carry betrayal, confusion, or sorrow into your rebirth. This heartbreak was real, and now it must be felt fully so it can finally be released. In love, this heartbreak likely is tied directly to a karmic relationship, one that was beautiful, painful, necessary, and now expired. The Three of Swords in this position indicates that clarity will come through pain, yes, but also through reconnection with your own truth. Someone may reach out, or you may hear something that reopens the wound, but only so you can see that you are no longer the same person who was once bleeding for this love. You may still love them, you may always love them, but that does not mean you were meant to suffer for them. When it comes to health, life, and spiritual growth, this energy could also point to heartbreak tied to life disappointments, losses, or even disillusionment with self. Are you holding regret over what you didn't say? Shame over what you allowed? Sorrow for the time you gave to something that never gave back? The Three of Swords holds space for your tears, but it also whispers this is the final break before the breakthrough. With the High Priestess hidden in this spread, Spirit wants you to know you're not alone in this clearing. Your guides, ancestors, and angels are helping you grieve, rewire, and reclaim your sacred heart. How you're being seen, how others or even spirit are perceiving you at this time. The core meaning of the Queen of Swords is someone who's been through the fire and come out clear. She's intelligent, emotionally honest, deeply intuitive, and maybe right now a little guarded. Others may see you this week as someone who's cutting through the noise, getting real about their needs. A person who's been emotionally burned and is now trying to create clarity or closure. They could also see you as guarded, wise, and not easily fooled anymore. This is a card of strong boundaries, but also loneliness behind the armor. And love, in the context of your reading and the intense heartbreak seen in the Three of Swords, you may be seen by a partner, ex, or love interest as closed off, hard to reach emotionally, or even two in your head. But the truth is, you're not heartless. You're just protecting a heart that's been hurt too many times by half-hearted love. Spirit sees you as a queen rising. Yes, she's cutting cords. Yes, she's calling back her power. Yes, she may be lonely, but she is finally not betraying herself to belong. There's grace in your solitude and wisdom in your boundaries. And remember, the Queen of Swords only draws her blade when she needs to. She'd rather hold out for truth than settle for false comfort. Others may see you as strong because you're silent, but your strength lies in the truth you carry. The truth that says, I am no longer available for what doesn't honor me. You're not being cold, you're being clear. And clarity is compassion for yourself most of all. The outside influence. This is the energies surrounding you that are affecting your path. These could be people, forces, or spiritual support. The core message with strength isn't about force, it's about inner resilience, compassion, grace under pressure, and taming the beast within. This card shows up in the outside influence spot to tell us that you are surrounded by spiritual forces, relationships, or life events that are challenging you to grow, but with softness. Spirit isn't asking you to fight harder. It's asking you to trust yourself more. This could be someone in your life who's testing your emotional boundaries or capacity for forgiveness. A spiritual ally or guide pushing you through your emotional upgrade. Or even your higher self nudging you to stop clinging to pain and start showing yourself radical compassion. And love, strength often comes in when you're being tested by someone from your past. A karmic pattern is resurfacing, like the temptation to reconcile or accept less than you deserve, or you're learning to choose patience, not punishment, with yourself or with others. This is also a major spiritual awakening moment for you. Strength has an outside influence, can be your spirit guides or ancestors holding space for your transformation. You're being gently pushed to face emotional vulnerability, self-forgiveness, the wounds you've hidden under your independence. You're being shown that true power isn't in controlling what happens. It's in choosing who you are in response to it. Your greatest power is not being unshaken. It is choosing to stay soft even when the world expects you to harden. This energy reminds you don't have to earn your worth through struggle. You don't have to keep proving that you are strong. You already are. Hopes and fears is the Seven of Pentacles. The core message is a card of waiting, wondering, and working, asking, will the seeds I planted ever grow into something meaningful? This card reveals a tension within you right now. You're hoping that all your inner work, healing, and clarity will finally bear fruit. But you're afraid that you've invested in the wrong person, path, or pattern. You may be questioning, was it all for nothing? Will I ever see the love, stability, or peace I've been working towards? This is a moment of spiritual fatigue, but also an invitation to trust in divine timing. In love, this card often surfaces when you've done the work to let someone go, but still wonder if they'll return changed. You've healed, grown, and shifted, but you're unsure if you'll ever meet someone aligned with your new vibration. Or you're reflecting on years spent loving someone who never truly met you there. In health, career, and life, you may feel like you're at a crossroads. Should I keep pushing forward, or is it time to pivot? There's an urge to see results, but the message is clear. The roots are growing, even if the surface looks still. Your outside influence, strength, and overall energy, Ace of Wands, confirms that new life opportunity are coming, but only once you clear the doubt that's weighing down your vibration. Your spiritual wisdom message. This is a lesson in patience, trust, and releasing attachment to how things are supposed to look. This card asks, can you believe in what's meant for you, even if it hasn't arrived yet? It reminds you to water your own garden with love, even while waiting for the next season to bloom. Aquarius, you are not running out of time. You are simply shedding what was never meant to grow with you. This is the quiet before the harvest. You're being asked to hold faith, not in someone else's potential, but in your own soul's readiness to receive what's next. And what comes next is your possible outcome, the Hanged Man. This is the direction you're headed, the lesson or energy you're stepping into. The core message of the Hangman is not being stuck. It's knowing that he is suspended. He is not lost. He's being given divine time to see the truth from a higher angle. As the outcome, this card is a holy pause, a moment of surrender that leads to revelation. Aquarius, again, you're not being punished. You're being prepared. This card says everything you're feeling, every delay, heartbreak, and mystery is part of the spiritual perspective you need in order to rise. In love, this is the ultimate card of detachment from control and matters of the heart. You may have been clinging to the hope that someone would return transformed, or holding on to guilt, confusion, or fantasy around a relationship that never quite met you where you are. The Hangman says stop trying to solve the puzzle. Let the truth rise on its own. You don't need more answers, you need peace. This is the spiritual severing of a karmic cord, making way for a new beginning that honors your healed self. In career, health, and life, this outcome could also reflect a feeling of waiting, of being caught in a limbo stage, where life seems to be neither here nor there. You may be rethinking your path, purpose, or people. You may feel like you're being called inward more than outward, but it's not regression, it's redirection through divine perspective. What you see now as stillness will soon reveal itself as strategy from the soul. Your spiritual wisdom message is you're being pulled out of ego timelines and into soul alignment. The Hangman is not about sacrifice for the sake of pain. It's about letting go of how you thought things were supposed to be, so that spirit can surprise you with something even more true. Aquarius, pause does not mean punishment. Delay does not mean denial. Your sacred surrender is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. This is not the end. It is the cosmic exhale before the inhale of new life. Your outcome is about release, reflection, and renewal. A beautiful cocoon space before transformation fully arrives. Your overall energy, the Ace of Wands. Beneath it all, there is a spark returning, a creative fire, a new passion, a soul calling. This is what you're heading towards. Your next chapter is waiting, but first you have to release what is dimming your light. And as we had heard, the hidden energy is the High Priestess. There is a knowing within you, intuitive, ancient, and sacred. Even if your mind feels noisy, your soul knows exactly what's happening. This week, the answers don't come from logic. They come from within. Trust the process, trust the pause, and trust yourself. Aquarius, this is a powerful week of sacred stillness, soul healing, and perspective shifts. You're not meant to push forward. You're meant to go inward, to feel it all, to honor what's ended and what's ending, and to prepare for something radically new. So for now, let yourself rest, let yourself grieve, and then let yourself rise. All right, my beautiful Aquarius, that concludes the tarot aspect of your reading. Now we turn to the Oracle and take a deep dive into how you can work through some of these issues and any additional messages that Spirit is bringing to you. So let's get comfortable, Aquarius, as I clear the spread and bring in the Oracle. All right, Aquarius, we have cleared the spread, and now we're ready to get it started in your oracles. And we're going to start today with the Romance Angels. For those of you that are looking for information about love, your personal relationships, and romance. This could be about someone that you're wishing, hoping, desiring to connect with, have previously connected to, or in current connection, or will be connecting with in the future. Or this can be vice versa. This could be how they feel about you as well. And all those same metrics could apply. All right, so let's get started. The first card coming through is reconciliation. Someone from your past wants to return, but this isn't just about nostalgia. It's about unfinished energy. This person may be showing up in your thoughts, dreams, or even literally. But Spirit asks, is this healing or is it looping? Reconciliation can sometimes mean a spiritual closure rather than a physical reunion. Then we have a pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Yes, Aquarius, the signs are there. Subtle nudges from your guides, gut feelings, repeated patterns. This card is less about fear and more about discernment. Don't ignore what your body is telling you. If someone makes you feel anxious or drained, listen. And then we have release your ex. This is time to come to cleanse your energy. There is a karmic cord still active. It may be blocking the new soul-aligned love that wants to come through, whether it's lingering energy, emotional entanglement, or spiritual contracts. It's time to clear the space. All right, so in combination, there is a return of an emotional cycle this week, whether it's a memory, a message, or a person. You'll be given the opportunity to either close it with compassion or repeat the pain. Spirit reminds you gently that true reconciliation sometimes happens in your heart, not your inbox. Let go with love and reclaim your power. So now we're going to take a look at the Hidden Truth Oracle. And again, this could be coming from somebody that you're hoping, wishing, desiring to connect with, have previously connected to, or in current connection, or will be connecting with in the near future, or vice versa. This could be how they feel about you, and could be meeting all those metrics. And this is what's being said in the silence and not being said in the silence. These messages are raw, emotional echoes, often unspoken words from a soul connection, be it a karmic partner, soulmate, or even your own higher self, reflecting back truths you've been struggling to face. Here's what came through. You both know I am not the one for you. This message hits at the core of karmic release. A connection may have once felt magnetic, even faded, but deep down, you and this person both knew it was not aligned with your growth. It doesn't mean they didn't care. It means that they couldn't meet you where you're going. This is mirrored by the 3 swords in your future position. Heartbreak as spiritual redirection. Sometimes the most painful truths are also the most liberating. And then we have, I knew exactly what I was doing. This card speaks of accountability, manipulation, or even withheld emotion. Someone may have emotionally breadcrumbed you, ghosted you, or pushed you away while pretending innocence, but their soul is speaking now. They made that choice consciously. This ties to the 7 of Swords energy you've seen around Aquarius and other spreads. A reminder that not all intentions are pure, even when the connection is strong. This message calls you to stop rewriting the story to protect someone else's image. Honor your truth. And then we have, you don't know how hard it was to let you go. This brings softness to the above. Even if this person hurt you or couldn't love you properly, that doesn't mean they didn't feel deeply for you. Letting you go was hard, possibly because they knew you deserved better. This aligns with the 4 of Swords, your heart card. Rest, recovery, and distance were necessary for both souls to heal. And last but not least, we have, I hid who I really am from you. Secrets, masks, emotional walls. This is a confirmation that what you felt intuitively was real. They were not being emotionally transparent. This could also mirror your own patterns, hiding your needs out of fear of being too much. But the Queen of Swords, how you're being seen, says you're no longer in that energy. You're claiming your emotional truth with apology now. Aquarius, you've loved someone who couldn't meet you in your death. They knew it, and they felt it too. They're not your forever, but they were part of your awakening. And now Spirit is asking you to release the ghost of what might have been and choose what is still possible. Now we're going to move into your Zodiac Oracle, and this can show up as signs and elements from your person. It doesn't have to be, though. If it is, take it as a double confirmation, as some of these messages were directly meant for you. Otherwise, this could be how those elements from the, air, water, fire, zodiac signs, planetary influences, is how their aspects are affecting you at this time. And so the first one we're going to start with is fire. The signs and elements that show up speak directly to the spiritual fire burning around you, urging transformation. Fire element represents drive, passion, movement, and purification. This is your energetic contrast to the stillness of the hangman. Fire says you're not dead, you're becoming. You're burning away illusion to reclaim your true spiritual flame. Then we have Sagittarius. Freedom, truth-speaking, expansive growth. You're being called to look beyond the limits of past relationships and wounds. Sagittarius reminds you you are not tethered to who you used to be or what you used to define your worth. There may also be a person with Sagittarius energy who played a role in your healing or heartbreak. This sign mirrors your desire to understand, to have meaning in chaos, and Spirit says some chapters don't close with clarity, but with surrender. And then we have Aries. Courage, rebirth, and independence. Aries shows up when you're being pushed to lead yourself, even when it's hard. If you've been waiting for someone else to make the first move emotionally or spiritually, Aries says you are the spark you've been waiting for. This sign pairs beautifully with the Ace of Wands, your overall energy, a fire lit from within. You're surrounded, Aquarius, by fire because you're meant to be transformed, not burned. Aries gives you the courage. Sagittarius gives you the vision. And fire itself says, rise now, even from the ashes. And now we shift into the wisdom and the beautiful messages from the angels and ancestors oracle to see what wonderful nuggets of wisdom and guidance they're going to bring in for you today. And we have first up, Peacekeeper. Let go of the need to be right. Peacekeeper reminds you that strength doesn't always roar. This week, spirits call for calm clarity. You don't have to win the argument. You just have to choose peace. And then we have Autumn with Release the Old and Rest. Yes, love how it's confirming your reading, letting go of dead weight so you can prepare for what's ahead. Autumn is about release. It's the season of the soul where you shed what is no longer in alignment. And then we have the beautiful Water Guardian. Connect with your emotions. The Water Guardian invites you to reconnect with your emotions without drowning in them. Let your intuition guide you through the waves. This week isn't about reaction, it's about response. You are evolving beyond triggers, beyond loops, beyond heartbreak. Let go like the leaves in autumn, flow like water. Peace is your protection now. All right, let's get some fun little messages here from the Divine Doors. The first one up that we have is Forgive and Forget. A ritual cleansing of pain and lies. Arise and awaken, see a new sunrise. This card is more than just words, it's a soul's directive. You're standing at the doorway between pain and peace, and this message is a clear sign. Forgiveness is no longer a passive idea, it's a spiritual action. But Spirit is clear. Forgiveness does not mean reconnection. It's not about letting someone off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the emotional leash that's kept you tied to pain, betrayal, or self-blame. When combined with the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords, and the High Priestess, this becomes a deeply private and internal release. You don't need validation to let go. You don't need closure from the person. You are the closure. Forgiveness clears karmic residue. Forgetting doesn't mean erasing. It means refusing to carry pain forward as part of your identity. Let this week be your sunrise. You're not forgiving because they deserve it. You're forgiving because you deserve to be free. I love that message. Next we have Freedom Flows. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine sacred reason. This card breathes life into the Ace of Wands and the Hanged Man. It's about releasing resistance and stepping into flow state of energy. It's time to stop clenching your fist around outcomes, people, or timelines. Your soul is ready to move into expansion, but control is like acting like an anchor. Your spiritual message here is letting go doesn't mean apathy. It means trusting that Spirit has a better plan, and the energy you're clinging to is too small for the version of you that's emerging. Freedom Flow invites you to loosen your grip. The healing you seek, the inspiration you crave, and the next chapter you're meant to walk into all require one thing: your willingness to trust and release. You've been in restriction too long. Spirit is now pulling you into the light, but you must choose to stop fighting the current. And then last Divine Door we have is the Odyssey. And it says, take in the beauty of country lands and botany. Explore the wonder like a gypsy traveler's odyssey. This card is about your spiritual journey and how far you've come, even when you didn't think you were moving. The word Odyssey invokes long roads, winding paths, and initiations. It speaks of soul cycles, lifetimes, emotional terrain. You survive deep emotional loss, soul confusion, longing, grief, and you're still here, still searching, still open, still rising. Your path hasn't been linear. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. Every pain you've endured, every ending you didn't understand, was part of your soul's higher unfolding. There's beauty in your scars and medicine in your mistakes. This week, you're invited to reflect not on what went wrong, but on how deeply you've grown. You're not at the beginning anymore. You're not lost. You are becoming. Let this card remind you your life is a sacred odyssey. Every step, even the ones that hurt, has led you towards the soul you are now. All three doors, forgiveness and forgive and forget, freedom flows, and the odyssey, create a sacred trinity of healing. First, you forgive the past and the people who couldn't meet you. Then you release what no longer serves you and begin trusting again. Finally, you remember that your journey, with all its twists and wounds, has always been guided. This is a rebirth moment, Aquarius. You are exiting the story of survival and stepping into a story of sacred becoming. And now we're going to shift into the last section of your oracle, which is my favorite, the Spiritual Jukebox. If you are a returning viewer, you already know the deal, and welcome back. If you are new, welcome in. Let me explain quickly how the Spiritual Jukebox works. These are spiritual song messages from my spiritual team, meant for the collective. They might come in from your higher self, a loved one, a romantic partner, a friend, spirit, or even an ancestor or passed over loved one. What matters most is how the lyrics speak to you. As I share each card, I encourage you to pause, tune in, and notice any physical sensations like chills, tears, even like little tears pricking your corner of your eyes, a flutter in your heart, butterflies in your belly, goosebumps, that gut feeling, that strong pull that says this one's mine. That's Spirit's way of letting you know a message is for you. I will offer a short interpretation, but this is really about how you are feeling the music and how the lyrics really speak to you. Now, just as a heads up, these songs can range from the 1950s to now across all genres. My guides have a bold sense of humor and a deep love for lyrics, so buckle up and let's see what has shown up for you, Aquarius. All right, so first off the bat, we have Nobody Knows It But Me by Kevin Sharp. This track is the emotional heartbeat of the hidden truth in this reading. It speaks of silent suffering, heartbreak, and the pain of lost love that never truly expressed. Someone in this connection, perhaps you, perhaps them, has held in a sea of emotion. Words unspoken, feelings never validated. The song arrives when grief is buried so deep it becomes part of the soul's marrow. Paired with a high priestess, this becomes a message from someone in spiritual silence who regrets what was lost but cannot say it out loud. Whether or not they return, this is confirmation that you were deeply felt, even if never properly honored. And then we have What If I Said by Anita Cochran and Steve Warner. This song is a conversation that never happened. Two hearts aching to speak their truth, but bound by fear, timing, or circumstance. It captures the romantic tension between the cards. Reconciliation, release your ex, and forgive and forget. There was love, there was almost, but there was also interruption. Perhaps someone was unavailable, emotionally or situationally. The song says the love was real, even if it wasn't right. This plays as a spiritual mirror. You're both asking, what if? But only one of you is ready to speak the truth. And then we have In the End by Beth Crowley. This track blends haunting clarity with inner confrontation. It's about realizing a connection was karmic, not forever, and facing the ache of letting go without bitterness. This is your Nine of Swords, Death, and Three of Swords moment. In the end is the breakdown before the breakthrough. It asks, What were you clinging to? What illusions are you finally ready to release? It's not defeat, it's release. This is when you stop romanticizing the pain and start reclaiming yourself. And then we have Beautiful Things by Benson Boone. A stunning contrast to the shadow tracks. This song is about the fear of losing the light once you found it. It's the voice of someone who's experienced deep love or who is finally opening to receiving it, but now fears what's at stake. This shows up when you're stepping into something brighter, perhaps a new soul contract or an entirely new chapter of your personal expansion. It reflects your Ace of Wands strength and Water Guardian energy. You're healing, you're softening, and you're terrified that it could happen or could disappear again. The message here, you're allowed to feel joy without bracing for its loss. And then we have Hello by Adele. A powerful return from the past. The song is both an energetic visitation and a self-dialogue, a call across time and soul dimensions. Whether this is a literal ex, a soul contract, or your higher self, someone wants to connect, but Spirit is clear. This hello doesn't mean reconciliation, it means recognition. It's a message saying, I still think of you, I still feel you, I still carry the lesson. Hello also plays when you need to forgive yourself for what you've missed, what you gave, and what you couldn't save. Aquarius, these tracks are a soul soundtrack of loss, learning, longing, and letting go. There's undeniable karmic love energy in your field this week. One that shaped you, but that you are no longer meant to carry. Your spirit team is asking, what are you still clinging to that was never yours to keep? What lyrics hold truth for you, not just nostalgia? And what do you finally need to say to yourself? Let the songs wash through your emotional body. Let them break you open gently and then let them go. You are not the sorrow. You are the soul that survived it. Aquarius, if this message found you today, it's because your spirit is ready to rest, release, and rise again. This week, you may feel the past knocking at your door. Memories, names, faces, songs, even whispers you can't quite place. But this isn't meant to drag you backwards. It's meant to show you how far you've come. You are not who you were when you first gave that love. You're not the version of you that kept apologizing for asking for more, for needing depth, for seeking truth. That you was learning, and now you're remembering. That your intuition never lied, that silence holds answers, that walking away from what isn't for you is the most sacred kind of power. So let yourself heal without rushing. Let your heart mourn for what it hoped for. Let your higher self love on you when no one else shows up. And above all, know this, you were never abandoned. You are being initiated. This is not the ending. This is the exhale before your becoming. The truth is rising from your bones now, quiet, clear, and untamed. You are not a prisoner of your pain. You are the keeper of your peace. So walk forward gently, Aquarius. Let the tears cleanse. Let the memories pass. And when you're ready, look up. Your next soul chapter is already unfolding, and you are finally ready to live it. I just want to take a moment and thank you for the incredible privilege of reading for you today. If you would like to help support our channel, please do all the things. Like, share, leave a comment below. Especially let me know which song from the Spiritual Jukebox really spoke to you. But definitely subscribe for more powerful messages. I'm wishing all of you light, love, and prosperity on your journey forward. Namaste. Bye for now.